Good evening, and thank you for joining us virtually. My name is Hilary Dubois, and in collaboration with our partners, we bring you tonight's vigil. August 31st is recognized as International Overdose Awareness Day. Last year, nearly 40 countries participated in almost 900 in-person events across the world. This year, nearly all vigils occurring worldwide are happening virtually. It was critically important to us as a group to bring the essence of what our in-person event feels like to this virtual platform. Tonight, our single stream is part of an international movement to bring awareness to the overpowering impact that overdoses have on our worlds. This year has been a year of profound loss of so many loved ones, loss of closeness, loss of experience, loss of special moments and milestones. Many of us live every day with the loss of someone from addiction, the immense loss of our families, our communities, and in our daily lives. In the current times, society's priorities have changed, and it is up to us to continue to gather, albeit virtually if necessary, to speak, to remember, and to keep this issue on the front burner. We gather again tonight to honor those who lost their lives to overdose, to a battle of addiction much greater than themselves. In mourning the loss, there is celebration of the lives gone too soon and recognition of their importance and impact. People often ask me what they can do. They can remember, they can support those still in the struggle, and they can advocate. They can participate in dialogues at a local, state, and national level, becoming the voice of those who are gone. The legacy left behind of those who are no longer with us is still very much alive here in all of us gathered tonight, within the children of those we have lost, and in our greater future. We should continue to push for further progress, better access to support and treatment, better education and prevention for our youth, in loving memories of those who are no longer with us. I thank you all for joining us this evening and being part of the effort to address this crisis. Later on this evening, we welcome you to light your own candles during the memorial slideshow, the way you would have if we were in person, as a symbol that your loved one's memory still lives on. To feel that we are together during this candle lighting, we invite you to take your photo of your candle of yourself or with your family and share it on social media. You can tag us with the hashtag ODVigil2020. With that, please join me in welcoming the Mayor of the City of Brockton, Robert Sullivan, and the Plymouth County District Attorney, Timothy Cruz, for their opening remarks.
Good evening. My name is Robert Sullivan and I'm the Mayor of the City of Brockton, and I'm truly honored to be with you this evening. While the world is continuing to struggle with so many hardships such as COVID-19 pandemic and fighting for equality and justice for all, we must continue to bring to the forefront mental health and substance use disorder awareness. We must lead with compassion and from the heart, and naloxone saves lives, and it's available really for anybody who needs it. So support is out there for anyone who is struggling, including through Brockton's Champion Plan here in the City of Champion. So according to the Plymouth County Outreach, there's been a 5% decrease in overdose deaths this year as of July 31st. But tonight is about honoring those who have lost their lives to a disease. And our thoughts and prayers go to the departed. And we love these individuals. We must remember these individuals and think about their memories and that we share now, and all the stories that can help others. So again, on behalf of the City of Brockton and as Mayor, I just want to thank you for your efforts, and I wish you all the best. God bless each and every one of you. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Tim Cruz, and I am the District Attorney here in Plymouth County. I'm proud to participate in tonight's virtual vigil, marking the somber occasion of International Overdose Awareness Day. I'd like to commend the organizers and all the community coalitions participating. Your spirit and drive made this special evening possible. even during a pandemic. Tonight, we remember those who fought hard with addiction, but sadly lost. Everyone here participating, friends and family, you have made it your mission to ensure that your loved one's memory lives on and that they did not die in vain. Each picture you'll see in the slideshow represents a life lost. They are parents, sons and daughters, brothers, sisters, friends, or co-workers. Some have been gone for a few years now. Others have passed more recently. But the pain of the loss for all of us left behind remains the same. Tonight, we reflect and remember, but we also have hope that the resources and prevention efforts that we've dedicated to ending this dreaded disease of addiction will have success. Even in the extraordinary times we find ourselves in, our work continues. We work to get drug dealers who are peddling their poison off the streets and out of our communities. The drug courts are operating in a limited capacity, but they are operating so that we can have alternatives designed to rehabilitate rather than incarcerate. Plymouth County Outreach has continued their outreach, even and especially during this pandemic. With schools starting up soon in some form, I'm hopeful that our Drug Endangered Children initiative can be back up and running again once it's safe to do so. Although we are not able to be physically together, tonight we are warmed by the memories, but we also seeking the motivation to continue to work to end the disease of addiction. Because one life lost is still one too many. Thank you.
When we think about substance use disorders, we think about how it brings out the worst in humanity.
It deteriorates families, it erodes a sense of self-worth, trust, a connectedness to other individuals, and it really causes chaos and a sense of helplessness and hopelessness in that individual and all the people who love that individual.
But conversely, when we think about community-based organizations, particularly focused on prevention, it's the exact opposite of that.
It brings out a true sense of what it is to be a human being and to reach out to someone.
It's altruistic. It involves deep volunteerism. And it's someone who's reaching out a hand to another person saying, I support you, even if I don't know you, and I will offer you information and resources.
Into the 9 communities in Plymouth County that volunteer an enormous amount of time, love, and investment of themselves into that. That's something that is truly inspiring and we're so proud to be a part of.
We'd like to recognize all of the efforts and members of the community coalitions, Bridging Lives, the Brockton Mayor's Opioid Overdose Prevention Coalition, Carver Cares, EB Hope, Middleborough Matters, the Plymouth Youth Development Collaborative, Rockland Cares, and Whitman Hanson Will.
2020 has been interesting.
We've spent 24 out of 34 weeks this year wondering if a handshake, hug,
or an in-person conversation will cause us to get sick.
With a virus that is wreaking havoc on our world.
All this time, living in fear of one another's physical touch or presence has taken a toll on all of us.
So many of us are suffering in and from isolation.
Without an end in sight, we are keenly aware that those of us in recovery
who no longer have access to the same level of community support are experiencing significant disruption.
And as a result, one thing may be more clear now than ever before.
We need each other.
So we come together, albeit virtually,
to remember our loved ones, to grieve the loss of those precious human lives.
Each and every individual.
And when there are no words to say
that can ease the immeasurable pain of loss, we light candles as a way to say, we see you. You are not alone.
Although we may wish to be together, experiencing the pain, the sadness, the beauty, and the power of this moment all in one place,
we remain connected in spirit with an unwavering drive to challenge the narrative that hope cannot be found.
This vigil also stands as a reminder that we are still here, united by our desire to bring an end to the suffering of those facing addictions of all kinds.
We light candles, recognizing that our collective action
brings light to dark situations.
We resolve to continue challenging the forces of loneliness and despair that keep ourselves and our loved ones from experiencing wholeness.
We may be apart, but in this moment we are not alone.
We remain connected by our pursuit of hope and healing in a time of profound uncertainty.
Next, I would like to introduce one of our speakers, Megan, who will be sharing a story of remembrance of our close friend, Sean Staunton. Megan and I both belong to the Boston Bulldogs, a running club that provides an anonymous and safe community of support for all those adversely affected by addiction. We always refer to the Bulldogs as kind-hearted warriors, and she is the true embodiment of that. Megan is also in recovery herself, so not only is she actively working on her wellness and recovery, but she is constantly giving back to those that are impacted by addiction. She is truly a leader amongst her peers and always going above and beyond to support the community around her. Please welcome Megan.
Hi everyone, my name is Megan O'Sullivan and I am a woman in recovery. I want to thank the Brockton and Plymouth Area Prevention Collaboratives for asking me to be a part of tonight's event. I know these events take a lot of work to put on, especially this year in a world that has gone virtual. But virtual or not, I love that they have come together and organized it anyway. I love that it wasn't postponed until next year when we could physically be together again. This event each year provides a dedicated time and space to honor our loved ones that we have lost to addiction. A place where we can come together to offer support, love one another, and share memories of the people we wish were still here with us. A lot of us have experienced the passing of a loved one, and in turn, feel a significant loss in our life. Not an easy feeling to navigate, but tonight we get to be reminded that we don't have to do this alone. We are reminded that there are others who are feeling that same type of sadness, but also we get to share in the same type of joy through the memories that we keep forever. This is a territory of emotions that nobody wants to enter. I know I certainly didn't, especially after the passing of my cousin Drew, but on June 22nd, just a couple short months ago, God revealed he had a different plan for me. I received a phone call about midday from my friend and founder of the Boston Bulldogs running club, Coach Mike Ferrulo. He shared the tragic news with me that we lost Sean. And what he meant by we was that the whole world just lost a little bit of light that was so strongly shared by his presence. I can remember the first words out of my mouth in response to Coach was, "Sean who?" I knew I had a best friend named Sean, but he was sober for 4 years, and there was no way that it was him he was talking about. I had just heard from him days before, and I had saw that he even went for a run in the afternoon leading up to that day. It couldn't be Sean, and I tried hard to believe it. I feel like this type of initial denial may be a feeling that we can all relate to. This was one that I still find myself wishing I could wake up from, wishing that someone could tell his family and his son Joel that it just wasn't true. I find myself wishing I could go back in time and do something to change the course of his outcome. It just didn't seem real. But as I reflect back on the Sean that we all remembered until his passing, I felt so proud of who he was. Over the course of the 4 years that I got to know Sean, I saw a man who was motivated to change from the start. A man that was determined to be a good father and to make his own family proud. He wanted those things very much, and he talked about them often with me. He wanted to change his life, and he was ready for it. He set forth on a mission to recover. Looking back, I feel so lucky that I also got to witness him achieve these goals. He was a very good dad to his son Joel. It came easy for him, mostly because Sean was just a big kid himself, but man, did they grow close. I watched him restore relationships with his family, a crew of people that never gave up on him. But after getting sober this time, he really wanted to make them proud. He was able to do that as well. He set goals and put in time and effort to see them through. He completed marathons and loved going to live shows. He had friends by the dozen and a social life I couldn't keep up with. Once you met Sean one time, you heard from him again. It was just the kind of guy that he was. So how is it possible that someone so rooted in life and enjoying it so much isn't with us anymore? I think this is one of those questions that we will never really get an answer to. But I do know one thing. This disease is so hard to understand. It doesn't make sense and it seems so unfair. I still question how to accurately describe the struggle that I had with addiction. I had seen on several occasions in my own life that my outsides didn't always line up with what was going on the inside, where my struggle with addiction wasn't reflective to the exterior world. This is also the only thing that makes sense to me to be true for Sean. Again, something I will never really have the answers to, but I'm learning to be okay with not having the answers. I know that Sean fought. I know that he fought hard and with everything that he had. But I don't see this as a fight that he lost. Nothing about his life over the time that I knew him resembled him losing at anything. He lived multiple years as an honorable man in recovery. Someone that many looked up to. Sounds a little odd to say this, knowing that death certainly is a loss, right? What I mean by this is that Sean is free from his internal struggle, and he finally gets to rest. He can now walk away from the days that challenged him and go on to wrap himself in a giant pair of angel wings and forever protect his people. He was busy here on earth, and I'm sure he is just as busy now in heaven. His love was widespread, and I'm certain that he is still with his mom, Daphne, his dad, Rich, his sister Kelly, his brother Richie, his girlfriend Maggie, and his son Joel. This list could go on and on. So as we remember the lives that we have lost, let's also remember the fight that continues in so many here. I would encourage us all to stand together. People need people. We need to be kind to one another and always remember that although we may not know what is really going on with others, we still need to come together in support of our friends, our families, our coworkers, our neighbors, and everybody in between. We all have a role in this fight. It is so important now, more than ever, that we come together as a community to continue to break down the walls and stigmas around addiction. May we stand tall and may our voices be heard that there is a solution and a way out, so that less families have to experience the loss of a loved one. May we continue to share the resources to those who are still struggling so that we can provide hope that we do recover. And may we always provide a safe place for families to know they are not alone. I offer my condolences to all of you who have lost a loved one, but encourage you to find rest and comfort in that they are at peace. Your loved one is still here with you in spirit, and that there will be a day when you meet again. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak here tonight, and I wish you all peace and love on your journeys to recover and heal.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. Just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. Just gotta see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand. knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. But there's hours of time on the telephone line, talking about things to come. Sweet dreams of flying machines and pieces on the ground. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again. Thought I'd see you one more time again. There's just a few things coming my way this time around now. Thought I'd see you, fire and rain.
Next, I'd like to introduce Debbie. Debbie lost her only child, Derek, to an overdose in 2017. He struggled with his addiction for nearly 17 years. The stigma of addiction created a lot of shame for him to speak about his struggles. So today, Debbie wants to share a piece of their story in hopes to help another family.
Hi, my name is Debbie, and I've been asked to read a story that I'd written about my son, Derek. Derek was born on March 7th of 1984, and he died on September 23rd of 2017. He'll forever be in our hearts. Derek was our only child, and we had such high hopes for him. From the time he was born, he was a very kind, generous, and sensitive soul. He loved karate, playing his electric guitar, Boy Scouts, skateboarding, and scary amusement rides. During elementary and middle school, he was a star football player, a pretty good baseball player, and he even enjoyed basketball for a short time. We enjoyed having Derek and his friends filling our house with activity and joy. Around the age of 15 to 16, Derek began experimenting with OxyContin. I believe he first tried it at a friend's party and subsequently became addicted. His personality changed drastically around this time. He dropped out of all sports and started hanging out with a different crowd of friends. Because of this drastic change, we put him in counseling, hoping this would help. Somewhere between the ages of 17 and 18, Derek admitted to me that he had a problem, and we were able to get him into a rehab facility here in Massachusetts. Eventually, he ended up stealing from us and others to fund his habit. He barely graduated high school because he didn't go for most of his senior year. But he did go on to college, which he left after 2 weeks to come back to our town and use. Derek then moved out of our house and stayed with a couple of different friends for the next few years. Derek spent most of his time trying to get clean during this time, and he was active in AA for a number of years, with some periods of sobriety. In between his stints at rehabs and sober houses, which are way too many to count, he was able to get a job at the Carpenters Union, where he did quite well for a few months, and then, as often happened when he had a job, he had a relapse and ended up back in rehab. By this time, Derek was addicted to heroin because he could no longer afford the cost of OxyContin. He was in and out of work for years. His doctor tried Suboxone and eventually methadone, and then he was eventually able to wean off the methadone and again began treating with Suboxone until the day he died. During these years, he came to live with us several times so that he could get back on his feet. Derek was a very talented Finnish carpenter. During the last year of Derek's life, he seemed to be sober, and he had even purchased a couple of electric guitars for himself and was teaching himself some new songs on YouTube. It was pretty exciting because he hadn't played in years, and he had always loved music. The Christmas before Derek died had been the first Christmas that he was in attendance at our family holiday party in a long time, and my whole family was excited because he seemed so much himself and was really present with all of us. This is, of course, a very fond memory. When I got the call that Derek had died, it came as quite a shock because he had been doing good for quite a while, and the fact that he was pursuing a hobby that brought him joy in the past had been reassuring. And he seemed to be moving forward with his own construction business. Derek died at the age of 33 from an accidental overdose. I think by then we really thought he would make it. He had survived prior overdoses. The only drug that was in Derek's system that he wasn't prescribed was fentanyl. I cherish the memories that I have of Derek during his sobriety that we enjoyed together. We miss our son more every day, and we continue to pray for anyone who is suffering from addiction, as well as their families. Thank you for letting me share.
Next up, we'd like to welcome Ken Feldstein. Ken is a person with lived addiction experience who does case management at Bedrock Recovery Center in Canton. He's a state certified addiction recovery coach and has previously worked for Signature Healthcare and High Point in Brockton, as well as South Shore Peer Recovery in Scituate. Ken respects all pathways to recovery and believes that addiction is most successfully healed in the community. Ken is going to share some words of hope with us tonight.
Hello and good evening to all. Thank you for participating in tonight's program. My name is Ken Feldstein. I'm an old warhorse in recovery from heroin addiction since January 28, 1972. My father drove me to a brick building on 185th Street in the Bronx on that day. Today is the first day of the rest of your life, read the sign above the entrance to the program. I was made to sit on a hard chair for several hours to think about what my motivation was to get better. In those days, programs were generously funded by federal and state grants. You didn't need insurance. You could stay in treatment as long or as short as you wanted to. The 18 months I spent felt like a very long time, and it was both painful and awakening. When I graduated, I was launched back into the community to test out the new me in real life. I look back on that time and I cringe. I was 19, still immature, still insecure, and still unsure of who I really was and what I really accomplished. I stumbled and bumbled my way through those post-treatment years, figuring it all out on my own, making mistakes left and right. But using drugs was no longer my way to cope and relieve the pain of being uncomfortable in my own skin. I think I was trying to prove to others that I could do it, as well as it being a way to avoid the shame of disappointing my family, friends who were rooting for me, and the compassionate and caring ex-addict counselors who worked with me. I had been part of a recovery family, a community, which made all the difference. Today, the importance of community is still paramount. For me, it worked. But my ongoing recovery has not been without some significant bumps along the way. Life is the gift that keeps on giving, and in many cases, it can be relentless with challenges that can go for the jugular and leave you vulnerable to draw upon whatever defenses you've cobbled together during your journey. And the journey is unique for every person. No two people recover the same way. No single pathway works for everyone. And for some, the disease of addiction stops the journey abruptly. The author, Washington Irving, wrote the following words, and I'd like to share this brief pearl of wisdom with you tonight. There is sacredness in tears. They are not a mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love. Grief, contrition, love. Emotions so different, yet so connected. Tonight we're all here, connected by our different yet related experiences. We're a community. That's powerful. You've heard it said to the point of cliche that connection is the opposite of addiction. I'm not sure it's the opposite, but it provides a safe place of sharing and understanding. And if there's healing to be had, this is where it can happen. So, feel the loss, with others who share that pain. Forgive yourselves, forgive your loved ones. Lead with love always. Thank you so much for the chance to share with you tonight, and God bless.
Each year, the collaborative collects photographs from the community in order to commemorate those we have lost to this horrible disease of addiction. This video slideshow is not only meant to celebrate these beautiful souls taken from the earth too soon, but to help remove the stigma associated with substance use disorder, showing that this is not a choice, it's not a moral dilemma, but this is a disease that does not discriminate based on race, gender, or socioeconomic status.
When this slideshow originally played in August of 2013, there were 22 photographs that played to a single song. Today, on August 31st, 2020, we will be presenting a video that includes hundreds of faces, captured through a series of nearly 400 photographs from all over Massachusetts. While the increase in photographs unfortunately means an increased representation of people that we've lost, another mother, father, husband, wife, daughter, son, friend, aunt, or uncle, it also represents the courage of families to share the stories of their loved ones without shame or fear of becoming part of the horrible stigma addiction carries with it.
In the blink of an eye, your world completely changes because of the loss of your loved one. Anyone that has experienced this knows that words often fall short in their intent to provide comfort. Instead, we know that a hug or someone's mere presence has the ability to provide support when we need it most.
But now, when we might be desperately longing for that kind of connection, we're faced with a virus that keeps us from experiencing one another's physical presence. Among the many complex emotions and difficulties brought on in 2020, this year has also contained some of the last precious moments we may have had to experience with a loved one. Though this hopefully temporary way of being has caused us to be apart tonight, our collective ability to remember, to grieve, offer support, and love to one another has not and will not be stopped.
In spite of the pain of disconnection and loss that may be weighing heavy on our hearts and minds tonight, it is our desire that this vigil will be an experience of healing and hope for ourselves, our families, and our community. We will continue to fight back every day in the name of the loved ones we have lost and to find hope from those in recovery for the ones still suffering.
As you watch this memorial, please take the time to help remember these beautiful lives and keep in your heart those still battling this disease. During the slideshow, we welcome you to light your own candle as a symbol that your loved one's memory still lives on. To feel we are together during this candle lighting, we invite you to take a photo with your candle and share it on social media. You can tag us with the hashtag ODVigil2020.
Broken clock is a comfort. It helps me sleep tonight. Maybe it can't stop tomorrow from stealing all my time. And I am here still waiting. And I still have my doubts. And I am damaged at best. But you've already figured out I'm falling apart. I'm barely breathing with a broken heart that's still beating and in the pain. There is healing and in your name I find meaning. The broken locks were a warning. You got inside of my head. I tried my best to be guarded. I'm an open book instead, and I still see your reflection inside of my eyes. They're looking for purpose, they're still looking for life. I'm falling apart, I'm barely breathing with a broken heart that's still beating in the pain. There is healing, and in your name I find meaning. So I'm holding on, I'm still holding on, yeah, I'm still holding on, I'm still holding, I'm barely holding on to you. I'm hanging on another day just to see what you will throw my way. I'm hanging on to the words you say. You said that I will be okay. Broken lights on the freeway left me here alone. I may have lost my way, but I haven't forgotten my way home. I'm falling apart, I'm barely breathing with a broken heart that is still beating, and in the pain there is healing, and in your name I find meaning. So I'm holding on, I'm still holding on, but I'm still holding on, I'm still holding, I'm barely holding on to you. I'm holding on, I'm still holding on, I'm still holding on, but I'm barely holding on to you. There's no one in town I know. You gave us some place to go. I never said thank you for that. Thought I might have one more chance. So what would you think of me now? So lucky, so strong, so proud. I never said thank you for that. Now I'll never have a chance. May angels lead you if you were with me tonight, I'd sing to you just one more time, a song for a heart so big God wouldn't let it live. May angels lead you in. Hear you, me, my friends, on sleepless roads, the sleepless go. May angels lead you in. May angels lead you in. Hear you, me, my friend, on sleepless roads, the sleepless go. May angels lead you in. Shadows are falling and I'm running out of breath. Keep me in your heart for a while. If I leave you, it doesn't mean that I love you any less. Keep me in your heart for a while. When you get up in the morning and you see that crazy sun, keep me in your heart for a while. There's a train leaving nightly called when all is said and done. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sometimes when you're doing simple things around the house, maybe you'll think of me and smile. You know I'm tied to you like the buttons on your blouse. So keep me in your heart for a while. Oh, and hold me in your thoughts. Take me to your dreams. Touch me when I fall into view. And when the winter comes, keep the fires lit, and I will be right next to you. Engine drivers headed up north to Pleasant Stream. Keep me in your heart for a while. These wheels keep on turning, but they're running out of steam. So keep me in your heart for a while. Oh, sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Sha-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Keep me in your heart for a while. Keep me in your heart for a while. Just keep me in your heart for a while.
Seen my share of broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Angels come down from the heavens just to help us on our way. They come to teach us, then they leave us, find some other soul safe. See myself, broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone, wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. Broken halos that used to shine. Don't go looking for the reasons. Don't go asking Jesus why. We're not meant to know the answers. They belong to the by and by. They belong to the by and by. See myself broken halos, folded wings that used to fly. They've all gone, wherever they go. Broken halos that used to shine. 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 Broken halos that used to shine.
Loving can hurt. Loving can hurt sometimes, but it's the only thing that I know. When it gets hard, you know it can get hard sometimes. It is the only thing that makes us feel alive. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing and our hearts are never broken and time's forever frozen still. So you can keep me inside the pocket of your ripped jeans, holding me closer till our eyes meet. You won't ever be alone. Wait for me to come home. Loving can heal. Oh, loving can mend your soul. And it's the only thing that I know. I swear it will get easier. Remember that with every piece of you, that it is the only thing we take with us when we die. We keep this love in a photograph. We make these memories for ourselves, where our eyes are never closing and our hearts are never in time lost back on 6th Street, hearing you whisper through the phone, wait for me to come home. You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can't find the fire, but I see it in your soul. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. We're gonna walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you. The silence isn't quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains, and take the world to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. Hey. And all we need is hope. And for that we have each other. And for that we have each other. We will rise, we will rise, we will rise. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again, and we'll rise up, high like the waves. We'll rise up, oh, in spite of the ache. We'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for you. Should have stayed. Were there signs I ignored? Can I help you not to hurt anymore? We saw brilliance in a world asleep. There are things that we can have but can't keep. Oh, if they say, who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of 1,000,000 stars? If flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, well, quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. The reminders pull the floor from your feet. In the kitchen, one more chair than you need. Oh, and you're angry, and you should be. It's not fair, but just 'cause you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Oh, if they say, who cares if one more light goes out in a sky of a million stars? It flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Flickers, flickers. Who cares when someone's time runs out? If a moment is all we are, well, quicker, quicker. Who cares if one more light goes out? Well, I do. Well, I do. I wanna leave my footprints on the sands of time. No, there was something that meant something I left behind. When I leave this world, I leave no regrets. Leave something to remember, so they won't forget that I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. Say I lived each day until I die, and I know that I meant something in somebody's life. The hearts that I've touched be the proof that I leave, that I made a difference, and this world will see that I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, I done everything more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, and I done everything that I wanted, and it was more than I thought it would be. I will leave my mark so everyone will know I was here. I just want them to know that I gave my all, did my best, and brought someone some happiness. Left this world a little better just because I was here. Oh, I was here, and I lived, I loved, I was here. I did, and
On behalf of the Brockton Area Prevention Collaborative, the Plymouth Area Prevention Collaborative, and our partners, we thank you for joining us in tonight's vigil. Please take a moment to learn about local resources in mental health, substance use, and recovery. Thank you. We hope to see you next year.
This is a story that I have never told. I gotta get this off my chest to let it go. I need to take back the light inside you stole. You're a criminal, and you steal like you're a pro. All the pain and the truth I wear like a battle wound. So ashamed, so confused, I was broken and bruised. And now I'm a warrior. Now I've got thicker skin. I'm a warrior. I'm stronger than I've ever been, and my armor is made of steel. You can't get in. I'm a warrior, and you can never hurt me again. Out of the ashes, I'm burning like a fire. And you can save your apologies. You're nothing but a liar. And I've got shame, and I've got scars that I will never show. But I'm a survivor in more ways than you know. 'Cause all the pain and the truth I wear like a battle wound. So ashamed, so confused, but I'm not broken or bruised. 'Cause now I'm a warrior. Now I've got thicker skin. I'm a warrior. I'm stronger than I've ever been, and my armor is made of steel. You can't get in. I'm a warrior, and you can never hurt me. There's a part of me I can't get back. A little girl grew up too fast. All it took was one time, never be the same. Now I'm taking back my life today. There's nothing left that you can say, 'cause you were never gonna take the blame anyway. Now I'm a warrior. I've got thicker skin. I'm a warrior. I'm stronger than I've ever been, and my armor is made of steel. You can't get in. I'm a warrior, and you can never hurt me again. No. And you can never hurt me again. Isn't it strange how one life ends, but the clocks upon the wall, they keep ticking on and on and on. What were your last words? Happened so fast, Lord. Can't help but think who you would be if you just had the chance to turn 23. It's 2 a.m. So don't believe you're gone, and the world keeps spinning on. You had so many songs left to sing, so many stories that I'll never get to read. Heaven holds you in its arms. Now I'm down here learning how to say goodbye in the blink of an eye. It's hard to think with all this extra noise. They're talking so loud, but you're quiet now. Well, your melody plays on, and I'll just sing along, along, along. When you took your last breath, you had so much life left. Can't help but think it could have been me out here chasing a dream when suddenly it all stops. In a heartbeat there are so many songs left to sing.